EA:n urheilupelejä on vuosien ajan kritisoitu laiskasta päivittämisestä ja vähäisistä uudistuksista, mutta NHL 18 tuo tähän trendiin piristävän poikkeuksen. Yksin pelaajat tulevat nauttimaan fiksumasta tekoälystä, joka osaa muun muassa käyttää laitoja apuna syöttölinjoja etsiessään. Tekoälyn käyttöön on valjastettu myös kaikki samat kikat, mitä pelaajallakin on käytössään. Nojatuolimanageret pääsevät halutessaan laajentamaan NHL:ää 32 joukkueeseen luoden kokonaan uuden seuran joko itselleen tai tekoälylle valjastettavaksi. Halutessaan NHL-joukkueen voi tuoda jopa Euroopan puolelle pelaamaan. Ja kyllä, uudenkin joukkueen kohdalla draftaus toimii tismalleen samalla tavalla kuin Vegas Golden Knightsin kohdalla. Monipelipuolella suurin mullistus nähtään EA Sports Hockey Leagueissa, jonne on tuotu tähdistöottelun tyylinen 3-3 pelimuoto. Tämä on täysin erilaista kiekkoa kuin ruudulla näkyvä NHL 3s, jossa pääfokus on ollut tarkkailemaisen kiekkoelämyksen luominen kuitenkaan jääkiekon kilpailuelementtejä unohtamatta. Monipelaamisen esteitä on pyritty poistamaan mahdollisimman paljon. Nyt samalta sohvalta voisi osallistua useampi pelaaja vaikkapa HUT-otteluihin, NHL 3s-matsiin tai perinteisiin versusotteluihin. EA SHL on ymmärtääkseni ainoa poikkeus tähän sääntöön, koska kyseinen pelitila on niin kilpailullinen, että kaikki joukkueet pyritään pitämään näin samalla viivalla. Pääsin jututtamaan NHL 18 päätuottaja Clement Kwongia sekä kampanjajohtaja Evan Dexteriä peliin liittyen.
Yeah, so this year there are three parts to gameplay that we focus on. So we talked about the brand new NHL earlier and being able to give tools to our players to express that creativity, show their skill on the sticks. So really with offense, what we've focused on this year was adding the new creative tactiques. So the moves, the between the legs scoring, passing, shooting and passing, backhand toe drags. So skill moves like that, where you're seeing kind of the young players pull them off in highlights every night. That's the kind of skill that we want to put into our players' hands and be able to express that. So the new skill moves obviously were important. On defense, though, to counter that, when we talk about game balance, I think it's important to look at the defensive skill stick, which kind of lends itself very well because it was a much requested feature from the core committee, but also kind of balances the effect of the new deeks, where you can extend your stick, sweep to disrupt passing and shooting lanes, extended poke checks. It really kind of changes the dynamics there of how you defend. And really adding the fidelity in terms of how real defensemen in the NHL are defending. And the last piece that was important to us was kind of creative AI, which is really important because whether you're playing with AI teammates on your team or playing against them, it's always good to see that the AI can also demonstrate the same skill moves, use the same defensive skill stick as you can.
Yeah, if you look at it from the perspective of offense, defense, and goaltending, in NHL 17 we did a lot of overhauls to the goaltending, the animations, adding the ability for goalies to get big and sort of make shrug saves. And so this year the focus was less on goaltending since we had done so much work in 17 and sort of relayed the foundation there. And it was more about, to Clem's point, offense, defense, and then artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great question. So with kind of new experiences in 3-on-3 esports hockey as well as NHL 3s, I would say the biggest challenge is balancing kind of the authentic full ice experience as well as kind of the new faster pace, high speed, high action, high scoring octane hockey with the 3s experience. So that was a challenge for us. Obviously, the biggest thing being smaller ice. I think the rules themselves and changing those was easier task to achieve, but definitely changing the size of the ice. Now everything else has to scale, especially with AI, player positioning, etc. We talked about how the AI makes decisions. That was a really big piece that fortunately we were able to achieve and overcome early on.
Yeah, the thing I'd add to that is it making 3s an experience too that was accessible and fun for new fans, but also had a lot of competitive and strategic depth for our core fans. Striking that balance where there was a sort of meta game in there for our core fans that already know the game so intimately was really, really difficult. But I think we, based on the feedback from the beta, we're on the right track.
I'll take that first. For me personally, it's 3-on-3 Esports Hockey League. I enjoy the bigger ice, but also like the speed and the kind of risk-reward opportunities. Whether whether you want to make that, if you're a defenseman, for example, and you want to pinch, like that's a real decision there. Because then if you turn the puck over, the puck's going back the other way. It's just a great way to play. You know, esports is really a great way to play with your friends. You know, kind of without the, I have to find, you know, now a full team of 12 guys to play 6v6, which I think is still the best way to play our game. But I think 3v3, 3-on-3, esports strikes a really good balance there for me.
I'm a big fan of the defensive skill stick. I attempt to play very positionally sound defense, so having that ability to close somebody off and still keep fidelity in my stick is a pretty big game changer for me. Yeah, we're talking about it. I mean, we look at GM Connected every year, and we sort of look at you know, the player base. There's obviously a lot of vocal fans that want to see a GM Connected experience come back. I think when we look at it in terms of our resources and the where we're focusing year on year, the reality is that when we had GM Connected in the experience back on the Gen 3 consoles, a very, very small percentage of our player base actually engaged with it. So when we think about where to spend our time and our resources, NHL 18 didn't feel like the right year to sort of invest heavily in a mode that we weren't sure whether or not it would end up being one of the most engaged fan modes. But it's something we talk about every year, and it's definitely not off the table, so we evaluate it kind of in that concept phase every year. We can't talk about 19 yet, but rest assured, I mean, I know our core fans are always looking forward to sort of an early scoop on features. We are thinking, you know, earlier into the future than I think we ever have. You know, Clem mentioned earlier when we were talking about the product, that we're looking at NHL 18 as the start of a sort of 3-year vision for the franchise in terms of where we want to innovate and how, and that includes lots of conversations on NHL 19. But unfortunately, you guys are gonna have to wait.
I could talk about a couple things. I mean, obviously with you know, kind of the longer term plan, we started with threes this year, kind of bringing in hopefully what will be a new fan base. But you know, I think continuing to focus on new experiences, you know, appealing to not just, you know, a subset of hockey fans, but all hockey fans who are also gamers. That's going to be continuing, you know, focus for us, as well as, you know, kind of the big piece around multiplayer. I think is a story around social and shareable experiences, right? So not yet. So they're only playable in threes at launch, but we'll see what fans ask for and what they tell us.